Testing, 1, 2, 3. This is Carlton Lewis. What's going on to my rideshare peeps? Um, a few, maybe a couple of weeks ago, the Simple Driver did a video where he talked about the cash flow quadrant. If you guys aren't familiar with Robert Kiyosaki and the cash flow quadrant, you definitely need to check that book out, especially since you're independent contractors. Um, if you're drivers, you're watching this, or if you're doing something, there are a lot of different ways to do independent contracting work. Um, what I wanted to talk about on this thing today, and I was very inspired by this because, I've been an employee, and if you could see these letters, each one is capitalized. You have the E is capitalized for employee, the S is capitalized for self-employed, B is capitalized for business owner, and I is capitalized under investor. And on a traditional graph that Robert Kiyosaki came out, he just used the initials. But someone has produced this chart and really broke it down. So, it's pretty self-explanatory. But for those people that are not familiar with it, and maybe you're just looking at this and just seeing it as a chart, it has a lot of power behind it. Once I read the cash flow quadrant, I knew that I didn't want to be an employee any longer. I'm sorry, and I'm just being truthful about that. I didn't want to be an employee any longer, and so I hopped into being a self-employed person. And this was back in, oh my God, this must have been about 1999, 2000, somewhere around in there, like when that book came out. Well, being self-employed, that's okay. Don't get me wrong, it's okay, but you're taxed at a high rate. You're still swapping your time. You can see the little clock right there. You're swapping your time for money. So you're basically an employee who owns a job. You're still a wage slave, but you're your own. You're a self-created wage slave. Now, being self-employed does have some perks, but you're still trading your time for money. And I hope you're getting to the point in your rideshare business, because it is a business. If you treat it like a business, it'll pay you like a business. If you treat it like a hobby, it's going to pay you like a hobby. The goal is to be on this other side, the right side of the quadrant, where the B and the I are. That's the business owner and the investor. Most people know other people who have started their own businesses, maybe gotten a franchise or something like that, and they're swapping their time for dollars. Maybe they bought a Subway or a McDonald's or a Slotsky's Deli, or there are all different kind of franchises out there. But most of those, you don't just get to just buy this franchise and not work it. Somebody's got to work it. And, I have particular experience with that. My father owned a franchise. He bought a franchise, a janitorial franchise. And guess who was there working that franchise every day? My dad was there. Even though he had a full-time job, he still had his franchise. It was basically his side hustle. But, if he wanted to go on vacation, he had to put some people in there he really trusts. Now, he could have taken it and flipped it and, moved it to a pure business owner where he hired people. And he did hire some people to do some of the projects. But he would never relinquish total control over it. You got to be able, as a business owner, you got to be able to walk away. You got to own that system. And the system is making money for you, or the people are making money for you. If you could look in the business owner box down there, you see a group of people. Those people are making money for you. So if you're an employee, guess what? You're that group of people down there at the bottom for somebody else. Trust and believe that. I don't care if you have a government job or good corporate job, or, with a Fortune 500 company or whatever. It doesn't matter. You're that group of people. And the goal is to really get on the side where you're a B and I. So, my employee people, you know, some people they're cool with it. They're cool, and that's okay. And I talk about this a lot. They're cool with it, and if you're cool with it, that's fine. That's great. You got benefits. I wouldn't quit my job now if I didn't have benefits. If I'd never been an independent contractor and I was going at it cold turkey, I wouldn't do it. But I had several years of being an independent contractor. I understand the risk involved in it. I understand that you're gonna need to have to save money. Case in point, and I'll be transparent with you guys. I was out of driving for like 11 days. 11 days. I know I wasn't on a vacation, but I had a family emergency. So I was not even in the state of Georgia. Now I was able to drive. I was in Mississippi, in Biloxi. So, I wasn't down there gambling. No, I wasn't. I had a family emergency. So in this family emergency, I didn't really start driving down there, and I could drive for Lyft. Big shouts out to Lyft, because their platform was, open where I could drive down there in a different state. So, was it like how I am in Atlanta? No, I know these streets in Atlanta like the back of my hand. I've been driving these streets for money for over 24 years. But, being a self-employed person, like a rideshare person, totally, when you're totally dependent on rideshare, you can run into some emergencies. So you really need to have some money saved up, even if you're going to start a traditional business or you're going to stop being a regular employee. You need to have some money saved up. You need to have your health benefits figured out. This is for real. This is for real, for real. So I went days without being able to earn income. Now, thankfully, because, the way rideshare is situated, Uber and Lyft, I could just turn my app on and I can go get some money. But it puts me in a position where I'm playing catch up, but I still, I would rather have that ability to play that type of catch up versus have to check in with a boss and try to figure out, this is me personally now, I'm not saying anything about anybody else. I would rather have that ability to just say, okay, well, look, I'm not going to be able to drive, and I know that, things may be crazy by the time I get back, but I know that I can handle those things. All right. But the best thing is to be prepared. When you hear successful people tell you they have about 6 months worth of emergency funds, six months, whatever you make, I think that I'm not really sure what the exact number it is, but you need to have, I think it's 6 months times whatever you make per month, So if you make, let's just throw a low number out there because, we're going to make it simple for math for me. I'm not a big mathematician whiz guy. If you earn $1,000 per month, you want to have $6,000 on hand, before you even think about trying to quit a job, man. And those are low numbers. I'm not sure if that formula is right, but I'm just telling you my experience. The best thing, is to build you a pipeline as a business owner. And Robert Kiyosaki talks about this in his book too. He talks about the difference between, hauling buckets. He has a story in there. And in this story, there's the village, and they have a water shortage supply. A water shortage problem. And their water supply is, miles away. So this one guy, they contract two people to handle the city's water supply, to bring water into the city. So the first guy, who was obviously clearly on this left side of the quadrant, on the E and S side, okay, on the employee and the self-employed side, he went out, he immediately he bought him some buckets, and he would go scoop the water himself up from the lake and bring it to the village. And all the village people loved him. And then, he said, well, shoot, I'm going to buy 2 buckets. So he bought 2 buckets. And, he got, scooping the water up, taking it back to the village. He just kept making trips like that by himself. Well, the second guy, he didn't do any of that. He went away for a while. And what he was doing when he went away, he designed a system. He went and designed a pipeline and paid to have it built. And then he advertised that pipeline system, and he created a pipeline to go from the lake where the water supply was over to the village. All right. And because he was able to do that in the end, maybe it took him a little longer to get there, as far as the cash flow is concerned, but he built a system. He built something that continued to work whether he was there or not. And that's what you should be looking at. That's a true business owner. You want to get to that point or you're getting to the point where your money, if you see the under investor where it says, money makes money, money equals money, not time equals money. You see what I'm saying? So you want to get to that. You want to get to the point where money is making you money, or other people or a system is making you money. And you want to get to that side as soon as possible, because I'm here to tell you, you want to get to the point to where you've got passive income, passive residual income. All right. Those 11 days when I was out of the box and I wasn't driving, that's rough, man. That's really, really rough. But if you got a system, you're doing that with a system, or you have investments, that are generating money while you sleep, or if you're on the beach or whatever, if you got a system that's doing the same thing, then you don't have to worry about things like that happening. And make sure you got some insurance too, some medical insurance. This is not a game, man. This is so not a game. So I just really wanted to record this video. It's kind of long. I didn't put my face on the camera, because I'm really concerned. I wanted to share with you guys my experience. I'm really concerned about, this rideshare industry as a whole. I'm not sure what it's going to look like in 3, 4, 5 years. We don't really have control over it as much as we think. Yeah, you can be deactivated. You see people like Terry Tips, the guy who writes for one of the contributing writers for the Rideshare guy. He got deactivated. His name was Jay. Both of these guys got deactivated. And it can happen. It can happen. So if you're totally 100% dependent on this, start looking for something else. And the path, maybe I'll talk about the path on a different video. This video's starting to get kind of long. Maybe I'll talk about the path. I'll go ahead and talk about it. Most people go from an E to an S to a B and an I, then to an I. The smart thing to do was really to have, the 4 ways to produce income is really, if you're an employee, I wouldn't advise you to quit your job. Seriously. I wouldn't advise you to quit your job. That's not for everybody. But while you have a job, let it fund your business. Let it fund your investment. Even if you're going to do some stuff that's where you're self-employed, let it fund that. Like my dad did. You know what I'm saying? My dad never quit his job. He had his little self-employment side hustle where he was able to write off taxes and do all kind of other things to offset things. He was able to take vacations. Dad funded vacations, all kinds of stuff, But if he had taken that step and just said, okay, I'm gonna figure this out, create a system around it to where I don't have to be there for this business to operate, and I can still generate cash flow. This is the cash flow quadrant. Then he wouldn't have to worry about showing up showing up at all times of the day, like we do with Rideshare. We got to get out there at all times of the day and night, just to get some money. That gets old after a while. It really does. And I'm just being honest with you guys. It really gets old, after a while. So, and if you're looking to get wealthy, yeah, you need to be on this other side with the business owner and the investor side. That's where 95% of the wealth is created, on these sides and these 2 quadrants, the B quadrant and the I quadrant. Less than 5%. I would say 5%, maybe less probably. People that are wealthy are employees or self-employed. Can you get wealthy? Yeah, but it just makes sense if 90% of the people who are wealthy got that way by owning a business, owning a true business, not a self-employed business, where you're an Uber driver or DoorDash or, something like that. Not knocking either one of those things. You do what you got to do, or you're an investor. That money's working for you. You guys hear me talk about cryptocurrency. And everybody's talking about cryptocurrency now. If you got half of a brain or you're paying half attention, you will see people talking about Bitcoin and the blockchain. And, I'm in a cryptocurrency called XRP, which is owned by Ripple. And I did my video that I put out earlier today. I recorded it yesterday. But the CEO of Ripple, or the co-founder of Ripple, he's now considered the richest person in the world. The richest person in the world. That's nuts. But did he do it as an employee? Did he do it as a self-employed person? Did he do it as a business owner / investor? Yes, he was on the 95%. So think about this. Look at your people who you see, that are really, really, really wealthy. And then you'll see, even, even if you're a brand, somebody like Jay-Z. Jay-Z is a brand. Jay-Z has built, yes, he started off self-employed, but he built a business around himself. He built a business around himself. So, most successful people, if they want long-term success, they build a business around their brand. Okay. Kanye West, Kim Kardashian, oh my God, so many people. And I'm just naming entertainers for right now. Look at Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jordan was an employee. He was an employee. So, but he built a brand. He built a brand, or a brand was built around him, and it made a lot of people money. He don't have to work no more. For sure. So this video is running pretty long. That's my commentary. This is probably one of the longest videos I've done to date. And I just had that on my heart. I was watching Cecily's video with Drive Girl Drive. Subscribe to her channel. And like I said, I was talking about the simple driver because he already did a cash flow quadrant video, and he really breaks it down. And for me, 2018, I'm looking at real estate and I'm looking at crypto. Things where, I can invest, I can work once and continue to get paid. Work once and continue to get paid. That's how you do it. Own a system, build you a system, or buy you a system and let it make money for you, or own some investments and let them grow. And, so once again, I'm not a financial advisor, nor do I play one on TV. Definitely do your due diligence. Never invest more than you can afford to lose. It's risky. You can lose your shirt, building a business or being an investor. But guess what? As an employee or self-employed person, as an employee, you can get fired. You can lose your job today. And self-employed, you could be in a situation like I was, where you have some kind of crisis that happens. So, everything is risky. Life is risky. So it just depends on how high your risk tolerance is. Once again, do your due diligence. Think about what you're going to do. Get some consultation about it. Get some education. And go forth. And hopefully you'll do a B and I thing and multiply. All right. Once again, this has been Carlton Lewis, a.k.a. Mellow Melanin, a.k.a. Mega Businessman. And like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with someone you care about. If you want to learn how to earn, $700 to $1,000 a week driving for Rideshare, look at the link in the description. And if you want to start learning about cryptocurrency, there are other links in the description for that as well. If you seeing this video on Facebook, contact me directly and I will get you those links. I'm not going to post them on Facebook, but I will post them on YouTube. All right. So have a great day. Peace.